my name is Chef Trey Griffith. I'm a private chef up in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia, and I'm delighted to have you join me today. We're going to cook a couple of pieces of fish. I'm going to cook some steelhead trout, a little piece of cod, two totally different presentations, some really good fish though. It's really good for you. So I hope you stick around and enjoy this with me. All right, thanks for coming back. Hey, listen, we're gonna start off today with a little piece of steelhead trout, and I'm gonna do it with some southern ingredients. We're gonna do some turnips, and so I hope you enjoy this. This is a nice piece of steelhead trout. So this is farm-raised trout. It's actually farm-raised in Chile. It's a really good piece of fish in that it's got a lot of vitamins. It's full of the things that you need to get through the day. And it's similar to salmon in presentation, but it's actually as good for you, but I don't think it has some of the negatives like the oily and the fishy and all that stuff. So I think this is, technically, I think this is what salmon wants to be when he grows up. But I want you to try this. This is, I bought skin-on fish, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the skin off and get yourself a nice knife set to do that. You're gonna want to be able to just run right through that fish and leave the skin on the plate. Now, if you want to leave the skin on, it's actually probably some of the most nutritious part of the fish for you, but people have a tendency to not want to eat the flesh. Sometimes I'll cook it and give it to the puppies because it's good for them too. This is a nice 8-ounce piece of fish, and I'm going to cut it in half because I think a 4-ounce portion of fish is a good daily requirement. And then I'm going to put a little oil in the skillet. We're going to season with a little bit of salt and pepper. And this skillet is nice and hot. Always cook hot. Cook hot in the oven, cook hot in the skillet. When you're cooking a piece of fish, we're gonna go flesh side down, but what that hot skillet's gonna do, it's gonna crystallize on the outside of that piece of fish and give it a nice crunchy texture on the top. So while that's going, I'm going to take one of our turnips. These are turnip roots. We've rinsed this off, so we're gonna leave the skin on. I don't think there's any problem with that. We're gonna leave the skin on. I'm gonna cut these into super thin little slices. Again, turnip's southern thing, but I'll tell you, it's a root vegetable. It's got lots of flavor profile. It's got pepper and lots of nutrients in it. So I want to impress upon you to try things that you wouldn't necessarily have tried before. And we're going to take this piece of fish. It's not going to take us long because I don't want to cook this fish to dry. So I'm going to let it sit there just long enough to give us a nice brown texture on the top. Yeah, that's perfect. So we've got a nice caramelized brown texture on top of that. I'm going to go into my 400-degree oven. Now, some of you are more comfortable cooking at 350. That's okay. It'll take a little bit longer. But my experience in commercial kitchens was that we cooked on 400 because we were going for speed. So just do whatever's comfortable for you. It's going to take us about 7 minutes at 400, maybe take a little bit longer at 350. Now I'm going to take these turnip roots and I'm going to toss them in here. And we're going to give them just a quick little cook. It's not going to take long because we cut them so thin. We want still a little toothsome texture to it, so we're going to keep them kind of crunchy. But we're going to let those go. We're going to add a little salt and pepper to that. And these guys won't take long. We're going to cook them on both sides, so once they start to get a little translucent on the first side, we're going to flip them over. Yeah, these are going to be nice. So we're going to do the greens and the roots on this, so you have a chance to have a little bit of the whole plant. I want you to think outside the box a little bit and think, you know what, I've never had the root with the green, or I've never had the green with the root. It's a good opportunity to have a little bit of both. So these turnips, again, won't take super long. They'll be nice because they're thin, they're nice and translucent real quickly. So we're probably at 4 or 5 minutes cooking total on both sides. And again, I got a really hot skillet. We're going for speed. So I'm going to take that turnip, and I'm going to stack them up in here in this plate. Some of the things that I'm looking for in the dishes that we're going to do, I'm looking for texture, differences in texture. I'm looking for differences in like flavor. So savory and sweet, or spicy and sweet, and things like that. Those contrasts always make for a nice bite when you do all of them together. So I've got those piled up. All right, then now what we're gonna wanna do is take a little bit of turnip greens. And I cooked the turnip greens and I put some to the side for a different dish that I had. But if you wanna just use a seasoned canned turnip greens, I think that works as well. So I'm gonna put them back into my hot skillet that I've been doing all that stuff in, and probably have about 5 or 6 ounces right there. And then I'm gonna wanna put a little heavy cream in that. We're gonna reduce that down. And then I'm gonna add a little whipped cream cheese. And I'm using a flavored whipped cream cheese here, a chive whipped cream cheese. And so what that's doing is adding another layer of flavor to the sauce instead of just plain whipped cream cheese. So I've added the chive whipped cream cheese, and what that's doing is that's gonna sweeten up the sauce a little bit too. So we've got these savory turnip greens, and then a little bit of sweet from the sauce, the heavy cream we're gonna reduce down, and then this will be done right as our fish is coming out of the oven. So this won't take long at all. Again, the greens are cooked. All we're doing at this point is reducing the heavy cream. So we're gonna take our bowl of sliced turnips, and then we're gonna put our steelhead trout slice on top of that. And then our creamed turnip greens. Yeah. And this is like super south, but we're twisting it up a little bit. Putting a little bit of that. So you've got the texture from the little bit crunchy turnip greens. You've got the steelhead trout, the nice savory piece of trout. And then you've got this sweet, piquant flavor of the creamed turnip greens. And man, that's an awesome dish right there. So next we're gonna be cooking a piece of cod. I want you to hang around and enjoy that with us too. Thanks. Well, thanks for sticking around. We're gonna cook another piece of fish, follow up that beautiful piece of steelhead trout with a nice piece of cod. Another piece of fish that's really good for you. So I really recommend you trying this kind of stuff. You know, technically cod is the kind of fish that like they're cooking fish sticks and stuff like that. But this is the real thing. We're not chopping this up. We're not mincing this. We're not processing it. We're literally gonna just sear a nice, beautiful piece of cod. This is a cold water fish. It's gonna be nice and super white and flaky. So it'll be super tender. It's gonna cook really fast, and it's gonna be good for you. So let's do that. We're gonna salt and pepper that and put it in a nice hot skillet. And while that's cooking, we're going to chop some olives. So again, like we're gonna talk about frequently on this show, is I think you should use products that are readily available and not necessarily in the context of what they were intended. So the local grocery store here has an olive bar. So I went and bought some olives, a little olive salad. You can buy a jarred olive. You can just different things, an olive salad in a jar even. But so we have a little bit of feta, some big green olives, and some nice little Kalamata olives. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop this up and kind of make like a tapenade with it. So we're gonna kind of mince this, rough chop this, but we're gonna chop it down to where it's really kind of mealy. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this over the top of this piece of cod. So we're gonna, again, chop this down to where it's like a tapenade, like a spread almost. And all the cheese and all the olives, it's got a little bit of olive oil on it and some Italian seasoning. This is all gonna be just perfect. It's gonna be very Mediterranean, which is a really healthy diet for you. This nice piece of fish and these beautiful olives, again, really good for you. Lots of nutrients that we really want to see you eating on a regular basis. So while this is chopping down and our fish is searing, I'm gonna get a pot going back here on the back, and I'm gonna put some roasted red peppers. And again, these are just jarred red peppers. If you want to go to the freaking trouble of making your own peppers, knock yourself out. That's really, really good stuff to do. But these are just jarred peppers, and again, I think that's acceptable. I think you can not necessarily give up quality by making some shortcuts like that. So this is searing. I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream to our roasted peppers back there. I want to season them with a little bit of salt and pepper. So the peppers had their own flavor, but when we added the cream, we lost some of that savory flavor. So we need to add a little bit of salt and pepper just to bring it back the flavor. And our fish is almost done. So what we're going to shoot for here on this fish, again, because it cooks really fast, all I want is a sear on the top, nice golden color, and we're going to get that just within a matter of a couple of minutes on that fish. And we're going to put the fish in the oven to finish. So I'm giving it color in the skillet, and then I'm going to put it in the oven to finish cooking so that I can control the time that it's cooking and not burn it on the stove before the inside of the fish gets finished. So got a nice little caramelization going on there. Perfect, perfect. Again, nice white flaky piece of fish that's going to cook really fast. So we're going to go in our 400-degree oven there. And then our peppers and our cream starting to reduce, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a puree to put in the bottom of the bowl for the fish, so that you got this nice savory creamy roasted peppers and then these tart olives going on top of the fish. It's going to be awesome. So after the cream has started to reduce a little bit, I'm actually going to take an immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, that's not going to stop you from doing this. You can use a countertop blender or a food mixer or anything like that. And we're going to actually chop these peppers and this cream down and make a sauce, kind of a roasted red pepper puree. And this has got all the flavor you need. Those roasted red peppers are going to have super smoky flavor, and the heavy cream is just going to make it even creamier and add just that much more flavor. So I'm going to move this around and get all these pieces down. I want all of this knocked down to just a cream sauce. Won't take long at all. So our fish has got about 2 more minutes. Our olives are all pretty much ready. I'm going to finish heating up that sauce. And we'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, so now our cod's finished. We're going to take it out of the oven. And again, that's going to happen really fast. It doesn't take long for cod, and it's going to be nice and flaky. So I'm going to take a little bit of this roasted pepper cream sauce. I'm going to put it in the bottom of the plate. So again, not only flavors, but colors and textures. You got all kinds of good stuff going on there. So we've got that beautiful red roasted pepper cream sauce in there. Then I'm going to take my piece of cod. Oh yeah. Nice. And then a little bit of our olive and cheese tapenade. Put that right over the top. Oh man, it's perfect. It's perfect just like that. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on there just for that nutty flavor. We're going to kind of just drizzle it around. Perfect. That's all I want. Man, that's a great piece of fish. Another great dish. Lots of flavors, lots of textures. That's a really good one too. And cod's really good for you. So we've got 2 pieces of fish tonight that we did that were really good for you. I want to see you cook them as much as you can. All right? We'll be right back. Listen, I really appreciate you sticking around with us for this episode. We cooked a couple of beautiful pieces of fish. I had a nice steelhead trout with couple of different kinds of turnip greens going on, and then a beautiful piece of cod with some olive relish and a little roasted red pepper cream. Those are great pieces of fish for you, and I think you should really try those at home. And for the next episode, we're going to do some lamb and some steak, and so I really hope you come back and join us for that one. And I want to reach out to Mountaintop Cabin Rentals and tell them how much I appreciate them. We've been hanging out in Joyful Altitude Cabin today, doing these great dishes with this beautiful view. It's just an absolute breathtaking scenery up here. Reach out to them, maybe see about renting a cabin from them. They're one of my big supporters, and I really appreciate them. Listen, I want you to stick around for the next show. Thanks.